Hi, and welcome to Dr. Archer's lectures. When we were together the last time, we were starting to discuss elasticity, and we talked about that it's the ratio of change in quantity divided by change in price, and that there are different categories of elasticity that we were beginning to talk about. We're going to start right there today and kind of expand on the categories of elasticity of demand, and from there, we're going to look at how that relates to changes in total revenue. So let's start by looking at what we looked at when we were together last. Reviewing, we first talked about inelastic demand. Inelastic demand means that the percentage change in quantity is less than the percentage change in price. Price is changing faster than quantity. And you'll remember from the law of demand that as price goes up, quantity demanded goes down. They're moving in opposite directions. So when you see inelastic demand, that indicates that price is going up faster than quantity is coming down. That gives you several results that we'll see right here. First of all, when you divide change in quantity divided by change in price, and change in price is the bigger of the two numbers, you're going to get an elasticity that's less than 1. 3 over 4, 2 over 3, 5 over 6. All of these indicate that the percentage change in price is greater than the percentage change in quantity, and it will always yield an elasticity less than 1. Secondly, you're going to get a steep demand curve. That's because price is on the vertical axis, and price is where you're seeing the greater movement. The change in price is greater than the change in quantity. So the movement on the vertical axis, the price axis, is greater than the movement on the quantity axis, the horizontal axis. And finally, that means that price sensitivity is relatively low. Even though the price goes up, in general, people will buy mostly what they've been buying all along. Remember when we were together last time, we talked about that elasticity changes for all products over the course of their domestic demand. Everything is the opposite. Elastic demand indicates that the percentage change in quantity is greater than the percentage change in price. Law of demand, as price goes up, quantity demanded goes down. So quantity demanded is falling faster than price is increasing. That gives you an elasticity that is greater than 1. You're dividing a larger number by the smaller number. 4 divided by 3, 3 divided by 2, 6 divided by 5. It's always going to result in something greater than 1. It's also going to give you a kind of a flat demand curve, and that's because the percentage change in quantity, which is measured along the horizontal axis, is where the greatest majority of our change is occurring. So you get a lot of movement on the horizontal axis, quantity, not as much movement on the vertical axis, price, giving you a kind of a flat demand curve. Those are the two kinds of demand that we talked about when we were together before, but it turns out there are 3 other kinds, so let's take a look at those. We've talked about what happens if quantity is changing faster than price. We've talked about what happens if price is changing faster than quantity. What if they're changing at exactly the same rate? Then what you get is unit elastic, horizontal axis, quantity at about the same level. So you get an intermediate demand curve. It's neither steeply vertical nor strongly flat. It's kind of in between. And the same goes for the price sensitivity. People won't keep buying forever if you drive the price up, but you're not going to lose great amounts of your quantity either. It's just kind of an intermediate level of sensitivity. And elasticity is equal to 1. What if, no matter what happened, the price would always stay the same, So people might buy a whole lot or they might buy very little, but the price stays the same. That's what happens in a perfectly elastic demand. Perfectly elastic demand means price is fixed. Price doesn't move at all. And quantity may change based on other factors, but the price is always going to be the same. You see these kinds of markets generally like the large commodity markets. For instance, the market for wheat worldwide. If the price of wheat is just one price for the whole world, it's the same price. Quantity demanded might change up, down, go all over the place based on other factors, but the price that they pay per bushel of wheat remains the same. This gives you a perfectly horizontal demand line. So this indicates a perfectly elastic demand. Price is fixed, quantity moves freely. What if the opposite were true? If quantity is fixed, but price moves freely, this indicates that people are going to buy the same amount no matter what the price. And so the price can move freely, but the quantity is fixed at Q1. This might be kind of true for very definite necessities like basic utilities. People use what they use, and the price may go up, the price may go down, but the quantity demanded remains pretty much the same. So there's no price sensitivity at all. No matter what the price, people are still going to buy. You get a vertical curve because it's quantity that's fixed in this case. Quantity is fixed at this point on the horizontal axis, and it does not change regardless of the price. The price moves up and down. It doesn't matter. Quantity stays the same. So elasticity in this case is zero. There is no elasticity. There's no change in quantity demanded in this case. In price, you're going to lose 0.1% of your quantity demanded. Very inelastic. On the other hand, at Mountain Dew is 4.4, very elastic. For every 1% increase in price, you're going to get a 4.4% decrease in quantity demanded. Healthcare, you can see, is almost as inelastic as eggs. Rice is pretty inelastic. Housing is inelastic. But then we kind of cross over into elastic demands. Beef, restaurant meals, and Mountain Dew. As these numbers get bigger, the more sensitive people are to price. So now let's think about how this relates to total revenue and how this relates to the entire demand curve. First, let's look at this entire demand curve. I've mentioned a couple times that no product is always inelastic at all price points. No product is always elastic at all price points. It varies. At relatively low prices, elasticity demand tends to be inelastic. If my favorite candy bar was $1 and now it goes up to $1.50, do you think I'm not going to decrease in quantity demanded? Very inelastic. But if you keep increasing those prices, people get more and more price sensitive. Think about that candy bar. They take it to $1.50, I'm still in. They take it to $3, I'm still in, but I'm starting to notice that. They take it to $5, I'm like, hold the phone. They take it to $10, it's like, not on your life. I get more and more price sensitive as the price of the good goes up. So on this chart, in this range, elasticity is equal to 1. This is unit elastic. The change in quantity demanded is falling at the same rate that price is increasing. So this is unit elastic. And then at the highest prices, you get demand is elastic. So at these highest prices, quantity demanded is changing at 200%, it's dropping at 200%, while price only went up by 40%, giving you a very elastic demand at 5.0. For every 1% increase in price, here you're seeing a 5% decrease in quantity demanded. Touchy, touchy, touchy. If you're a marketing manager, nobody's going to tell you where you are in this continuum, so you won't know. But every time you raise price, you're going to make note of what happens to quantity demanded, because remember, here in the very sensitive elastic demand. Why do we care? It relates to total revenue. What is total revenue? Total revenue is price times quantity. What was the selling price times how many did you sell? What did you sell them for? How many did you sell? Price times quantity. It's just as simple as that. So in elastic demand, elasticity of 1.8, if the price is 200 and the quantity is 12, well then total revenue is 2,400. 200 times 12. But when we increase the price, and notice that your elasticity here is 1.8, when we increase the price went up to 250, but then the quantity demanded went down to 8. 250 times 8 is only 2,000. So even though we increased the price, even though we got $250 for each one we sold, rather than the 200 we got previously, we lost so many sales that our total revenue actually decreased. And that's what happens when you have, if price is 200 and quantity is 1,200, once again, we start out with total revenue, 2,400, 200 times 12. But this time, when we increase the price to $250, we don't lose as much quantity. We still sell 10 units even at $250 a unit. And so 10 times 250 is $2,500. We actually increased our total revenue because elasticity, demand is inelastic. Elasticity is less than 1, demand is inelastic, indicating that price is increasing faster than quantity is decreasing. That's going to give you an increase in total revenue. And that's all for today on Dr. Archer's lectures. Be with us next time when we'll talk more about topics relevant to this class